Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Carl's Collects Comics, and I'm here for just a few minutes to share with you a little bit about the first couple of days of Fan Expo Dallas. That's right, I'm here in Dallas, Texas. Just finished up day 2 of the convention, and it's been a fun one. Definitely been one for the books. Hasn't gone according to plan, but I'm going to share some of that with you, and then we'll be doing our big post-convention episode on Wednesday during the regularly scheduled episode of the giveaway show. We'll be back in just a moment. See you soon. All right. Hey, so look, thanks for tuning in. For the few of you that are able to do this, I know it is a Saturday night. It's an early night, but it's good to see you guys hanging out in the chat. I'll do a couple quick shout outs real quick, and then I'll just share with you some of the cool stuff that has gone on over the past couple of days. So what's up, Louis V? It's good to see you, man. I'm glad that you're here hanging out with us. Christina Payne, good to see you as well. Las Cruces 1971, glad that you're hanging out and tuning in all the way from New Mexico with us. And then I see Meatwad number 1 is hanging out as well. So good to see you guys hanging out here and letting y'all know. So got a couple of quick things going on, and then I'm going to share a few of the books, and then also give a little quick preview for Wednesday night's episode of the giveaway show, because we'll be talking more in depth. So JT is actually on his way back to Houston from Dallas right now, and so he's not able to be on. And then we're not sure where Paul is. I've gotten some video updates from him, so I might play one of those for y'all here on the show and let you see. But Paul is hard at work representing the channel and doing quite well at it. So in fact, I'm gonna give y'all because I think okay, check this out. I got an update from him, so let me play this for y'all real quick. Let me see here which one this is. Let's see, where is it? All right.
And Carlos Collects Comics. Me, Paul, representing the old line. As you can see, it's going to be a while. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll keep you all updated. But we're here. We're here for you guys. And yeah.
So I don't know if y'all can see that, but Paul actually was in one of the lines at the convention, and he's having a time of it. But we'll check back with him later, and might show you the rest of his reports from the field on Wednesday night's episode. But hey, I'm glad that y'all are tuning in and hanging out with us. I know I'm going to keep it quick and just share a couple of the books that you can expect to see popping up. So, hey, it's as always, Fan Expo Dallas has done a fantastic job of putting together a great convention. A huge list of comic creators have been here this weekend. Favorites that I've seen before each year, and some ones that I've never gotten a chance to see before. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably gotten to see some of them that that I was able to get. But there are quite a few more that I did grab, and there's a couple books that you'll be seeing on Wednesday night's episode of the giveaway show. So, like I shared on Instagram, there was plenty of David Nakayama. Man, hands down a class act. Loved hanging out with him. And so, what's up? Hey, Rebecca, what's up? Good to see you. Glad that you're here hanging out with us. There's just a few of us hanging out tonight and talking a little bit about the convention, the experience. Rebecca was a cosplayer with a fantastic wingspan, and she'll be in the compilation video that we're going to be getting ready for Wednesday night's episode of the giveaway show. Southern Comic Geek, what's up, man? It was good to see you and run into you. He was there as always, found some really cool stuff, and then had to head out midday today. But like I was saying, David Nakayama, fantastic guy. He was, and everything was a bargain for him. I think he was only charging $5 per raw signature. So I got several books from him, including this Superman with him signing it in white, this Green Arrow with him signing it in white. Um, this this is Batman and Robin. Wait, no, Batman. Yeah, Batman and Robin, the annual that had his cover, had him sign that in red, and that turned out well. Let's see. Then Power Girl. This one is in blue, and then we had him sign also one in red. And so this is a pretty sweet cover. And then Thundercats. This was not one I shared on Instagram. He signed this one in orange paint marker, and that really pops well on the foil cover. And then the girls who are, I think, in bed now, or it's bedtime for them, they each got a copy of Thundercats #1 signed for each of them. So because they picked it out, and then our little one, our youngest, she actually has taken a liking to Darkwing Duck, who is one of my favorites, and he signed this one in yellow for her. So quite a few books. His line was never got out of control. He was there at the table most of the time, and just really pleasant, really professional. There was even one person I saw come up and just dump like 60 books on him, and the guy was kind of being forceful about it, and it was like, hey, but he was still polite and kind and just a real pleasure. So I can't speak highly enough about David Nakayama, and just him being there early and just being there all the way through, signing books, and only $5 for a raw signature, which is huge because times are tough. And I noticed that across the board, it felt like prices, with the exception of a few, it felt like most prices had gone down from what they usually were. So I think there was kind of a concerted effort for people to for them to not be as kind of expensive as they had been. So David Nakayama, lots of cool stuff to say about him. And then let's see, I got just a few signed by Tom Grummett. Tom Grummett was an absolute pleasure. Got a chance to talk to him and visit with him and his wife. He shared some of his original artwork. A really touching story about a Spider-Man cover that he had the original artwork from. He had gotten it framed, had given it to his father, and his father had kept it for like 20, 30 years. And then when he passed, went back to Tom. And so his wife shared that with me. So thank you to you two for sharing that, because it meant a lot. So Tom was the artist on one of my favorite comic runs of all time, which was the 1990s Tim Drake Robin series. And so I had him sign that there as well. And if you follow the channel, I've been sharing a lot about picking up Superman books. And so this Superman, the Man of Tomorrow #1, signed by him in blue. And then got this Superman, the Man of Steel, signed in red. And so I only got one of each of these signed. I brought more books for him, but I didn't want to take advantage of his time because he was not charging for he wasn't charging for books at all to sign. He was doing it for free. And he said that, hey, if you, because I asked him, I said, are you sure about this? Because I feel like I'm kind of taking advantage. But he said, hey, if you feel a desire to, he said, I'm not saying you need to in order to get the signatures. He said, make a donation to the Hero Initiative. And I said, hey, that's really cool. I'll make sure and do that. So this Wednesday night, I'm going to try to get it set up, and I'm going to make a donation to his charity of choice, which Hero Initiative really is a worthwhile thing. It helps comic, because a lot of these deals that comic creators signed way back before it was the big business that it is today, a lot of the deals they signed were not fair. They were not equitable. I mean, they signed them and they did them as work for hire. So I guess you could say that, they signed it and did it, but nobody could have known that the industry would become what it is. So a lot of them in their later years, they have nothing to go on. They have nothing, and they weren't paid like a ton, they weren't paid a ton back then. So the Hero Initiative helps with that, and it's a worthy charity, a worthwhile charity. So Wednesday night, we'll make sure and do that. And these are some cool books signed by Tom Grummett. Art Adams has been somebody on my list for a few years now, for several years, because again, if you follow the show, you know that I am a big fan of the classic X-Men run. If you want to read all the Claremont and Byrne work plus original material, there's original new material in every issue of classic X-Men that adds story and dimension to the regular storylines that we already know. But I got him to sign a couple of copies of this, and then got him to sign a couple of copies of one of my new favorite covers, Action Comics Annual #1, and he signed one in purple and one in red, and so that was really cool. He was charging, I think he was just charging $15 a piece for the signatures, and I felt like that was a bargain. Again, I had a big stack. I shared it on Instagram of books that I was thinking about bringing, but I didn't end up getting him to sign those. I decided to just kind of rein it back in a little bit. There's Southern Comic Geek. Hey, what's up, Wolverado? Good to see you, buddy. Meatwad #1. Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool books, and I'm not even going to show all of them tonight. I'm just going to show a few and talk a little bit about some of the creators that are just really, really fantastic, and give a special shout out to John Boy Myers, and tell you all about an incident that happened there and help kind of spread the word. Brooklyn Born, what's up, man? Good to see you. Another one of our channel members. If you have not. If you're not, what's up, Canadian Survivalist? Good to see you as well, man. Thanks for tuning in. So if you're not a channel member, please consider doing that. Send out for the top tier, the Dark Knight tier, I send out a care package of comics. It's $14.99 a month, and I send it out quarterly, and you always get your value. It's one of the best types of mystery boxes that you can get. So I'm a fan. I think I've also shared that I'm a fan of older school Punisher, the one from the 80s. This is Punisher War Journal Volume 1, #1. Got this signed by Carl Potts, and we got a chance to talk a little bit. And he shared with me some stories about writing the first meeting of Wolverine and Punisher, which happens in number 6 and 7 of this particular volume. Just a pleasant guy, great guy, and he was a little bit pricier. He was asking $30 for a signature because if it was not inscribed. Because I just on my single issue comics, I only like to have just the name signed on them, or just the name and date. Then I just went ahead and paid it. But he was the most expensive signature that I got today. $30, but it was #1. I'd already had him sign some other books last year, so I wanted to go ahead and have him do this one as well. Let's see here. I had a second copy, but I didn't take it in there. Last one I'll share for tonight, and then I'll give a few general notes of let's see. Oh wait, no, I'll share these two real quick. So y'all know that I have shared this on the show before on the channel. This is Batman Hush Unwrapped. This is the entire Hush collection, written by Jeff Loeb with art by Jim Lee and his team. But this is the original black and white with just the dialogue in color added to it. So it's kind of a cool way, a different way to experience the favorite Hush storyline. Well, I'd had Jim Lee sign it at Fan Expo 2 years ago. And so he signed this one on this page. There it is. And then so today I was able to catch up with Jeff Loeb and had him sign this one, this page. So he had a little meow to the Catwoman, a little Joker sketch, just a little doodle. Then he inscribed it and signed his name. So this was definitely a welcome addition to the personal collection. I had him sign this, and then two other books. I don't have the entire Hush run signed, but I had him go ahead and sign issue number 615, which, if you see, I had already had Jim Lee sign it in silver. Yeah, you can kind of see it there in the glare. You can see both of them signed, and then 619, they're both signed up there on Batman's cape. So I'd already had Jim Lee sign these two, and just went ahead and had Jeff Loeb sign it as well. What's up, West East Bay? It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're hanging out with us tonight, popping in. Yeah, man, so Jeff Loeb was Also, Jeff Loeb was 20 apiece for his signatures. So second highest price. And then let's see. Yeah, I'll share the. Oh yeah, let me share. Let me share this. I'll save some of the books for Wednesday night. But there's a couple more items that. So John Boy Myers, as always, continues to be just a really cool, really down to earth guy. Big heart. He got a chance to chat with my son last year, and so this year he got a chance to meet the girls, and that was really cool. So he gave each of them a print that he wanted to have. Like, so this is they each picked one out. This is a print of Godzilla, and then he signed it down there. He was telling us a little bit about his conception for this. Originally, they had talked about having Wonder Woman and Batman on this one, but he said he decided to eliminate those two because it just looked cooler. And so he gave him that one. That was for our younger one, and then for our older girl, she picked out Venom, and she wanted this one, and so he signed that one here for her. And that was just really cool. And I got some books signed by him, but I'll hold off on sharing those until Wednesday. And John Boy Myers, as always, is just a really cool, really down to earth guy, and it's just really been really neat to get to pop in, and see him at conventions, and also interact with him a little bit on social media. So big shout out to him, and that's what I wanted to make sure and share about on my Instagram. I've shared out. So there was a theft today. Sadly, there was a theft today at Fan Expo Dallas, and somebody swiped a Remark book that he had at his. I guess he had it at his table, maybe. And somebody swiped it and just took off with it. And so we're just kind of putting the word out. So if you see one go live on eBay or whatnot, or any of the other sales platforms, make sure to just take a look at my story on Instagram, and it's shared out there, and you can click on it and go to his profile and see what he's got. So it's unfortunate that people steal that, because he's the kind of guy that probably would have made sure to get somebody something. But it's important to it's just important to realize that these guys are this is how they make their living, and their their artwork that's how they make their living. So I like to support them. I like to to try to do stuff like this and buy prints and buy things here and there when possible. So I just want to share that out, make sure that people were aware that there was one of those that was floating around, and get the comic community to check out the Instagram and make sure to share it out, and just keep an eye out for it if you see one pop up. I think all the artists were really were all the comic creators that we interacted with were really great today. All the vendors that we interacted with were really great today. The girls each got a little ocarina, which is one of those little flute things that they play, and then and then they each got a lightsaber, which I'm sure that they will share on Wednesday night during the regularly scheduled episode of the giveaway show. But it's one of those they make them for kids now. It's cool. I think this is definitely by far the least I've spent at a comic convention. And I shared on last week's Friday night live stream about how to prepare for a comic convention, about how to try to be strategic about if you have fewer dollars to spend, how you can still go and have a good time, but just kind of be more strategic about it, and also to just to really maximize every dollar and all the time. I don't know that I did the best job of maximizing the time this year, because I went in with a plan, and the plan just kind of got sideways because I wasn't able to get as many of the people to do signatures as I wanted to on Friday. So it bled over into Saturday, and just made for a really long day. I think big takeaways is to number one, think ahead about food, because the food lines were completely just out of control. These lines were very, very long, and there was not sufficient seating. I'm not saying that is anything about Fan Expo Dallas. I'm just saying that they just had a ton of people there, and there wasn't enough food, and there wasn't enough seating to go around. And then I think also parking, I think, is a thing. I know most people I talked to paid $20 or more for parking that was within a reasonable distance. So that's something you want to think about. And then, when it comes to if you're a signature hunter, um, it just comes down to kind of getting the lay of the land and seeing who's signing what, who's signing for what. I will say that so Andy Kubert, we found out today, or no, we found out last night that Andy Kubert was charging a lot more for Uncanny X-Men 266, the first appearance of Gambit. I think everything else he was signing was $10, but that book was $60. He was charging for that. So that was just, whoa. I didn't end up getting any signatures from him just because of time. But I didn't have that book, but I know people that did have that book and just kind of were like, whoa, that, an extra $50 for that book. I think, but most of the guys were guys and gals were really, really fun, and good to interact with and talk with, even with a long line. I think the longest line that we waited in was the Jeff Loeb line. Everything else we managed to just get in pretty quick and do it. So the line, I think, if I had to pass a note on to Fan Expo Dallas, I'd say, it's time to move some of this, like the creators that are going to be a bigger draw, moving them to a different location is probably necessary. Because it was impassable. And I know that they, every year the same thing happens. So I think maybe it's time to, for them to look into how can we do how can we do this, and have a better flow of things. And so I think, because I think that, like I remember last year, Mark Silvestri, they had a good waiting area for his people where they could snake the lines around. But I think this year that they just had a lot of people there. I remember walking past the celebrity area and it was literally all people everywhere. There was you couldn't see any red carpet anywhere. So it was pretty crowded. I'd be interested to find out the numbers and find out if, where ticket sales were at for it. And then with Frank Miller switching from Saturday to Sunday, that's going to make Sunday interesting. Usually Sunday's more laid back, but I think that there's a lot of, there's going to be some really long comic lines on Sunday for Frank Miller. So I don't think I'm not going to go back for that because it's just too much. So I think those are some initial thoughts. Just some kind of out of the convention thoughts, stuff that's fresh on my mind and ready to do. But hey, I want you to make sure that Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, we'll be doing our regularly scheduled episode of the giveaway show, and it's all going to be post-convention coverage, and we'll have the full panel along with JT and everybody, because everybody was here. Me, Paul, Future Batman, and JT were all here, as well as Southern Comic Geek, Shelby's Comics, and others that you know. So I'll see how many of us are able to be on Wednesday night. Should be me, me, Paul, and JT. I'm not sure if Future Batman has something that night, but I think everybody should be there. So we'll be there Wednesday night. I'll have some cool books lined up to give away. And thanks for tuning in tonight. I like these because everything, the stuff that I talk about here is fresh. And it's right on my mind because I just came out of the convention. I like to be able to share that stuff. So make sure you tune in on Wednesday night. Also, quick shout out to our channel sponsors for their continued support of the channel. Let me pull them up. Where are they? Lone Star Heroes, Comics and Toys, 3 convenient locations in the greater Houston area. If you're going to be vacationing down that way, each of them has scenic, beautiful stuff nearby, whether it's Galveston, which is right on the seawall overlooking the seawall itself, Lake Jackson, beautiful parks and lakes within easy driving distance, NASA El Lago, where there's Space Center Houston and NASA itself, Plus, you can eat seafood right on the water. Plenty of fun stuff at each of their 3 locations, and each location is its own unique mom and pop comic shop shopping experience. They've got different stuff at every location, tons of back issue books, and just really fun to go dig there for a few hours. Also, Press Niche Worldwide for all your comic book pressing and cleaning needs, as well as CGC submissions. They are an authorized dealer, so you can also reach out to them as well. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. Let's see who we got. Las Cruces. Thank you for tuning in tonight, man. It's good to have you. So y'all, hey, thanks so much for, if you're here at the convention, make sure to have a good time tomorrow, and make sure to to be ready for any lines if you're going to try to go after Frank Miller's signature. But otherwise, tune in on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, and I will see y'all then. Thanks again for being here, and I'll peace out and see you guys then. Take care.